Haunted Beach House Part 1. Arrival. The sun set below the horizon as a group of 5 friends, Emma, Jack, Sarah, Mike and Lisa, headed to a secluded beach house they had rented for their summer vacation. The salty breeze brought a sense of anticipation as they got out of the car and enjoyed the seemingly idyllic coastal retreat. The beach house stood, its weather-beaten facade telling stories of countless years past. Its windows were slightly nailed down, and the porch creaked under their weight as they approached. Despite the wear and tear, it had an undeniable charm. Excitement turned to apprehension when the group noticed that the locals were casting suspicious glances in their direction. A shriveled old fisherman approached them with a worried expression. "You guys really shouldn't stay in this house," he warns in a hoarse voice. "He is cursed by the restless spirits of the past." The friends exchanged skeptical glances, but decided to dismiss the old man's warning as local folklore. They believed that they were just waiting for an exciting adventure. Part 2. Alarm incidents. The days passed, and strange events began to disturb the friends. Objects moved by themselves, shadows danced in the corners of their field of vision, and strange whispers filled the night air. Their skepticism has given way to concern. One afternoon, while exploring the attic, Emma discovers an old photo album buried under layers of dust. The faded photographs showed a happy family, parents, a little girl and a mischievous dog, posing on the porch of a beach house. A shiver ran down Emma's spine when she noticed the resemblance of the family to the old man's description. Determined to find out the truth, the group plunged into the history of the house. They discovered that the beach house once belonged to a family who tragically died in a mysterious fire many years ago. There were rumors of a dark secret hidden within its walls. Part 3. Awakening of the spirits. One fateful night, when a thunderstorm was raging outside, friends gathered in the living room, looking for comfort in their company. Suddenly the lights came on, and a gust of wind extinguished the candles that they had lit to console themselves. In the darkness that followed, they heard a slight ethereal laugh that sent shivers down their spine. Out of the corner of their eye, they caught a glimpse of dark silhouettes moving across the room. Panic set in as the characters became more distinct, revealing the charred remains of a long-dead family. The spirits of the parents and their child, disfigured and full of malice, headed towards the group. In desperation, they scoured the house in search of a way to appease the vengeful spirits. In a secret compartment, they found an old diary that belonged to their father. Its pages tell how the family went crazy, blaming the house for its misfortunes. The last entrance warned of an imminent catastrophe that would fall on anyone who entered. Part 4. The last bulwark. Armed with new acquaintances, friends have come up with a plan to remove the curse. They sought to reunite minds with their lost dog, believing that this was the key to their salvation. While the storm was still raging, they set off into the night, following the ghostly silhouettes to the deserted beach. As they approached the water's edge, a swirling mist enveloped them. The tortured groans of the spirits filled the air, becoming louder and more desperate. Through the mist, they spotted a ghostly figure, a faithful little dog, still waiting for his family. With trembling hands, Emma called the spirit of the dog, offering words of comfort and love. The dog hesitated for a moment, its ghostly form wavering, before pouncing towards them with a joyful bark. The spirits of the family converged on the dog, and a dazzling light enveloped them all. When the light went out, the friends were alone on the shore, the storm subsided, and the spirits left. The beach house was silent and still, its ghostly past having finally disappeared. Epilogue. Reflections. In the days that followed, the friends left the beach house, forever changed by their heartbreaking experience. They carried with them memories of restless spirits and the dark history of the house, a bond forged by fear and survival. The beach house, freed from the curse, has found a new life. Its windows shone with a new life, and the porch no longer creaked underfoot. A new family has settled there, oblivious to the ghostly past that haunted its former occupants. They did not suspect that the shadows of the past were still whispering through the walls, waiting for an opportunity to regain their power over the living. The spirits of a haunted beach house are not easy to forget.
Lost Campsite, Part 1. In the desert, the Thompson family, John, Karen, and their 2 children, Emily and David, went on a summer hike in a remote forest. They longed for outdoor adventures and sought solace from the pressures of the modern world. Little did they realize that their journey would lead them to a place of horror and despair. The deeper they got into the forest, the weaker the path became, and the dense foliage swallowed up everything around. The sun broke through the canopy of leaves and cast eerie shadows on the forest floor. The family was worried, but she moved on, determined to find the perfect campsite. After a seemingly hour-long hike, they came across a hidden campsite. Its picnic tables are overgrown with vines, and its fireplace are covered with moss. Despite their neglect, they were attracted by a feeling of inexplicable attraction. They ignored the warning signs and decided to camp for the night. Part 2. Phantom Twilight. As dusk fell over the campsite, the forest took on a menacing aura. Shadows danced among the trees, and the wind whispered haunting melodies. The family gathered around the fire, seeking warmth and comfort. In the silence of the night, distant footsteps and the rustling of leaves could be heard. David, the youngest in the family, began to cry. Karen comforted him, her eyes darting nervously in the darkness. John clutched his flashlight tightly and scanned the surroundings for signs of danger. Suddenly, an icy scream permeated the air. Emily gasped and covered her mouth with her hand as the sound echoed through the trees. Fear seized them when they realized that they were not alone at the campsite. Part 3. Trapped in a nightmare. With each passing hour, the supernatural phenomena intensified. The family's belongings disappeared, but reappeared in unexplained places. The whisper carried the wind further, teased and tormented her thoughts. The shadows became longer and distorted into grotesque shapes. The forest seemed to twist and turn, distorting reality itself. The once well-known path to civilization has become an endless labyrinth of trees and deceptive paths. Panic broke out when they realized that they were trapped in a nightmare from which there was no way out. John was desperately looking for answers and delved into the dark history of the campsite. He discovered stories about a lost family devoured by the malice of the forest. The legend whispered about an ancient curse that haunted those who dared to enter the campsite, keeping them trapped in an eternal cycle of fear and despair. Part 4. Fighting the curse of the forest. Determined to break the curse and save his family, John led them on a treacherous journey through the enchanted forest. Guided by scraps of forgotten cards and the flickering light of a fading flashlight, they marched forward, testing their will at every step. As they approached the dilapidated hut deep in the heart of the forest, a heavy foreboding filled the air. The hut stood like a temple of darkness. Its windows were broken, and the walls were covered with mysterious symbols. John knew that they had reached the epicenter of the curse. In the hut they found a tattered diary in which the desperate pleas of a former victim were recorded. On its pages, it was about a ritual that could break the curse, about bringing forgiveness to the forest itself. The family realized that they had to face their deepest fears and forgive the darkness that was haunting them. With trembling hands and a determined heart, they made their way to the clearing in the center of the campsite. They faced their fears directly, remembered past injuries, and breathed a sigh of relief to them. Part 5. Liberation and Escape. The last words of forgiveness escaped her lips. The forest shook. The ground under them cracked, and blinding light burst out of the ground. driving away the darkness that had enveloped the campsite. The curse was broken. With renewed hope, the family went back through the now peaceful forest. The trees whispered parting words, their branches swayed in newfound calm. Disheveled but triumphant, they came out of the forest, forever changed by the encounter with the lost campsite. Epilogue. Lessons from the forest. The Thompson family returned to their normal lives and were forever haunted by the memories of their harrowing experience. The lost campsite became a cautionary tale, whispered by those who dared to explore the wilderness. But over the years, the whispers became quieter and the campsites sank into darkness. However, the forest continued to devour unsuspecting souls, reminding everyone who dared to approach it of the price he had to pay for his curiosity. Thus, the lost campsite remained a testimony of the darkness that lurks in the arms of nature.
Cursed Carnival, Part 1, Thrill Night. The small town of Oak Ridge had never experienced anything like this. The arrival of a mysterious carnival that took place overnight. Colorful tents and flickering lights turned the empty field into a spectacle full of wonder and excitement. The air was buzzing with anticipation, while the townspeople were eagerly awaiting the grand opening. A group of teenagers, Alex, Rachel, Mark, and Lily, were among the first in line. They heard stories about the legendary carnival, which took place only every few decades, and promised the most exciting and scary rides that can be imagined. They decided to experience the thrill, went through the gate, ignoring the sinister secret that is hidden behind the facade of the carnival. Part 2. Opening Carnival. When the sun set and the carnival variety lit up with an eerie glow, the atmosphere changed. The laughter turned into a nervous whisper, and the performers, once so cheerful, became scary. Attractions that seemed so tempting in daylight became crooked and menacing in the moonlight. Teenagers were attracted by the centerpiece of the carnival, a huge tall tent, the entrance to which was guarded by creepy clown statues. Out of curiosity, they entered, ignoring the malicious energy that pulsed in it. Part 3. Trapped in nightmares. In the tent, the air was full of anticipation. The leader waved the teenagers forward with a wide smile and a piercing look. He said that the carnival is more than just an entertaining spectacle. It is a place where fears come to life and nightmares become reality. Every ride and attraction has been designed to appeal to your deepest fears. The roller coaster kept spinning in a circle, simulating an endless fall. The Hall of Mirrors distorted the reflections, keeping them trapped in an endless labyrinth of distorted realities. The House of Laughter has become a labyrinth full of horrors, where you are relentlessly pursued by clowns with ironic smiles. Part 4. Desperate Attempts. As the night dragged on, the teenagers desperately tried to free themselves from the clutches of the cursed carnival. They realized that the key to their freedom lay in unraveling the dark secret of the carnival. They were looking for clues and turned to the mysterious carnival fortune teller Madame Zara for help. Madame Zara said that the carnival was cursed, a place of torment for those who once offended its former owners. The spirits of vindictive artists sought revenge on everyone who dared to take pleasure in their twisted creations. To break the curse, they had to face the darkest secret of the carnival, a tragic event that happened to its original owners. Part 5. Facing Malice. Armed with this newfound knowledge, the teenagers ventured into the depths of the cursed carnival. They discovered a secret room in which there was a forgotten diary telling about the fire that consumed the carnival many years ago. The fire was not an accident. It was the revenge of an angry employee who had been wronged. The group realized that in order to break the curse, they had to appease the spirits by finding the culprit's final resting place and granting him forgiveness. With courage in their hearts, they followed the clues and walked along the winding paths of the carnival, facing their fears directly. Part 6. Salvation and Liberation. The tombstone of an angry employee was found in a secret cemetery shrouded in darkness. They held hands and whispered words of forgiveness, acknowledging the pain and injustice that had led to the tragic fire. A gust of wind blew through the cemetery and drove away the malice that had plagued the carnival. The damn carnival collapsed into itself. Its attractions crumbled to dust. The performers, freed from the torment, disappeared in night. The carnival venues again fell silent. The once glaring and frightening sight again turned into an empty field. Epilogue. Lessons learned. The teenagers left the cursed carnival, forever changed by their harrowing experience. Memories of trips, nightmares, and the desperate struggle to escape will haunt you for the rest of your life. But they took with them a valuable lesson. Sometimes the only way to break the cycle of darkness is to face our deepest fears and offer forgiveness. The Cursed Carnival has become a cautionary tale, a reminder to carefully enter the realm of the supernatural and face our demons instead of running away from them. So the Cursed Carnival became a legend. Its history was passed down from generation to generation, a frightening reminder of the power of forgiveness and salvation.